Hello everyone. I'm sitting on the floor of my mom's house in Connecticut. I'm back in America and I've had a lot of other big changes this week. Mainly that I am back on social media after taking a few weeks off. A few wonderful weeks in which I was very, very happy and I learned a lot of things. And I was actually seriously considering completely detaching, deleting everything, and getting rid of my phone and just getting an old phone that I could text and call on, and that's it, because I'm really sick of staring at screens all day. But eventually, once I calmed down a bit and relaxed into my new lifestyle, I realized that I like a lot of things about social media, and I like a lot of the opportunities that it brings to me. I guess the big opportunity is having a career at all. I didn't have a career before I made it on social media. And so I thought a lot about how to do it in a more healthy way. And I'm not sure if I figured it out completely. I'm not sure if it's sustainable, but I'm going to tell you how I am using this new philosophy of mine, this new desire to not be on my phone ever, really, while also being a social media person, an influencer, whatever. Because I actually think it's possible to do both of them. The problem is that if everybody does this, then there's really no one on social media to be the audience. And I struggle with the morality of taking a big step away from social media in order to protect my own mental health, but still relying on the addiction of other people to social media. Now, I really am not saying that every single person on social media has a problem with social media, but I mean, I'm relying on the fact that other people are hooked on this, that other people are coming back for more and scrolling and liking and commenting and sending it to their friends. I'm relying on the time that other people spend on their phones so that I don't have to spend time on my phone. And that feels a little bit selfish, a little bit unfair, but what am I gonna do, just spend time on my phone out of solidarity? So anyway, here's my routine that I've been using this first week back on social media. Just for context, before I left social media, before I took my break, I was spending on average 4 to 6 hours a day on my phone. And that time was spent editing photos, scrolling through Instagram, replying to comments, replying to DMs, a little bit of, texting my friends and looking up directions on Google Maps, but mostly just being on Instagram networking and getting distracted and going down rabbit holes. And even though my Instagram is really art focused, I do end up stalking some random high school classmate's boyfriend's sister, and that can take up to an hour a day. So yes, it was a lot of time on Instagram. And now I am very pleased to say that I spend less than an hour on my phone every week. And actually my phone tracks it, so that's very, very helpful. And that time is just, it's taking photos, it's still editing photos, that's still part of my job, responding to work emails, responding to friends, looking up directions because I do get lost quite a bit, and looking up things that I'm curious about. But the social media time is almost non-existent, and here's why. So every time that I want to make a post on Instagram, I prepare the photo, I prepare the caption in advance. And then I download the app, because I don't actually have the app. I download the app, I sign in, I post the photo, I post the caption, maybe I'll post a story to announce it, and then I delete the app. It takes about 5 minutes total. It's absolutely absurd. And the funny thing is that if you were to know me, if you were to hang out with me, even spend an entire day or a week with me, you might not even know that I have social media, much less that I'm a social media person, that my career is on social media. And that's great. I feel like I'm back to my old self before all of this got so crazy, and I became really emotionally unstable because I was caught in this cycle of being influenced by other people's opinions of me and getting like constant feedback on whether people liked me and whether people were satisfied with my work or with my personality. So now I'm just in the real world, fending for myself, and once in a while poking my head into the social media world, dropping a picture there, and walking away. I do have a lot of fears about it though. Big fear is that maybe the reason that I was successful to begin with was that I was so active, and I think part of that is true. Like I was posting 10 to 20 stories a day. I was responding to every response to my stories. So that's over the course of a week, a couple hundred, maybe even 1,000 DMs, just responding to that, keeping on top of that, checking in every half an hour to an hour, and writing back to every single person. Just to let people know that I'm not here on my high horse. I don't think I'm better than other people because I have followers on social media. So I was trying to demonstrate that by talking to people. So I fear that if I'm not there all the time, if I'm not reminding people that I exist, that my art exists, that I'm present, then people might forget about me and I might just go down in the rankings, people will abandon me. And who knows whether that would be just because of the algorithm or whatever, or if it's because people are actually annoyed that I think I can just have a career there and not really spend any time there. I mean, I understand that that's a little bit selfish. I also fear that people might be offended by the fact that I'm detaching so much, that I'm withdrawing, and that I'm not sharing as much of myself, because I know that a lot of people liked that about me, that I was really open on the internet. And guess I'm just turning into another social media account with pretty pictures and not much substance, because I'm not there to provide the substance. Of course, a big fear is the financial aspect of it. I got a lot of commissions through Instagram, through being active there, through networking. I had some brand partnerships where I would use pens or paper or whatever and get paid for mentioning it. I've lost a lot of those, lost a lot of money already. And I also fear missing out on opportunities like getting art shows. All my art shows that I've had have been through people DMing me on Instagram and saying, I work at a gallery, I work at an art center, work at a museum, and we're doing a show, and can you submit work? How am I going to get that if I'm not there to see those things? I'm afraid that if I were to stay on social media, my career would move a lot more quickly. I'd accomplish a lot more in the near future than I will now. But is it really worth sacrificing hours of my day, and more importantly, sacrificing my mental health just to get a bit of a leg up in my career? No, I don't think it is worth it. So I'm going to focus on the benefits that I have already experienced in the brief time that I've detached from social media. And when I keep those in mind, it's a lot easier to accept any of the drawbacks that I might have, any of the connections I might miss out on. Because if you think about it, when you're on your phone, you're missing out on connections in real life. So those 6 hours that I was on my phone are now being spent either working on my own projects and being present in my own solo time, or they're being spent out in the world meeting people, walking around, looking around. It's just a much more complete existence, in my opinion. Again, I really don't want to speak for everyone, because I know there are people out there that are like, what are you talking about? Social media is just a thing that you go on and do and it doesn't change your life. But for me, it did. For me, it became toxic. It took over my life. And I congratulate you if you can do it without it taking over your life, because I honestly think that it is designed to take over your life. That people are out there trying to program it to take up more of your time. More of your time than you intend, more of your time than you realize, because we've all looked up from our phones and been like, wow, an hour went by? I was just trying to find one thing on the internet and an hour has gone by. I'm going to try to share some more updates about this as my opinions change, my routine changes, because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about social media and whether it can be a part of my life, a part of our lives in a healthy way. Maybe eventually I'll conclude that I just can't be on it. I guess I'll just have to wait and see.